Hello, everybody. Welcome to Feedback for the first week of 2012. We did it. We're still alive. We made it through.
Good for us. It was a group effort. Yeah.
I can't believe that we're still alive. We did it.
Yeah.
I'm so happy about this. Nicole,
Yeah.
thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Morgan, thank you for
Contractually
being
obligated,
here.
but
yes,
it's cool, whatever.
Love the hat.
Thank you very much.
Are you wearing that because of a special guest that we have in studio
I'm wearing
today?
that because he brought it to me today, and then I wanted to try it on, and now I can't take it off because I have hat hair.
Oh, thanks, TJ, for ruining Morgan's look.
No problem.
She's really grateful that you gave her that.
Yeah, totally.
And writer of pretty much everything that you've chuckled at in the last couple years, TJ Fixman is with us.
Hello.
Hello, TJ. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing great now because you're here.
Awesome.
Thank you
Getting
for
a
being here.
little creepy in here
He's-
already.
It already
Yeah,
started a
everybody
couple
did.
weeks ago when he referred to me as the greatest kisser on the internet. Now it's just gone steadily downward.
You're welcome for that, by the way. I'm sure that your online status has exploded because of that comment. right?
Literally, twos of women have approached me because of that comment.
You're like, you own an arc, and you're just bringing them on. I like what you're doing there. All right, so guys, we're going to get into who exactly you are in a second. But before we do that, we are in 2012 now. Your gaming resolution for the new year, quickly. Mine is I was exposed to board games at PAX, and I was really excited about them, so much so that I actually dragged Morgan over into the board game the cavern that they had built there, and board games are freaking awesome. So
D&D or like Candyland?
no, like Candyland type stuff, but for grown-ups and not Candyland. But there's just a ton of really cool board games out there. So
Also
my
card
resolution
games.
and card games. My resolution, tabletop games. That's my gaming resolution for 2012.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah, Nicole.
You're saving electricity too.
Well, I need the lights on to play.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. I was trying. Mine's actually one of my problems in 2011 was especially this. I would buy a ton of great games, and I would start them, and I would probably get halfway through, and then I would buy a new one and never finish it. So my goal for this year is if I pay for it, I have to beat it. So that's mine.
I'm going to leave
Sweet.
that one alone.
Plus 2 economics. Oh, okay. All right. I see it now.
I'm thinking of other
I
things.
saw it.
Resolutions my parole officer made me make for 2012. Very similar.
But I think, especially at the end of the year, there were so many games. I definitely have really fantastic games that I've played a little bit and I have not finished. So I agree with you. I'm going to try to do that. My gaming resolution this year is to not be as cynical.
Don't hate kids in games. They exist.
I'm kidding. That is not my resolution.
Come on. You hate everything that
that's not
TJ's
gonna
ever
happen.
written then. I can't play Ratchet and Clank. These characters are young, and I hate kids.
You're bringing up a whole thing that you don't even want to
I
touch.
love looking at her sweat right now.
So not less cynical. The
Not
same
less
amount.
cynical.
Maybe just a little bit less cynicism.
No, realistically,
okay.
I'm going to be more cynical.
Okay.
But you know what?
You're
I'm
getting older. It
embracing
happens.
that.
I get it.
I just have less patience for things for kids, and I does that make me a bad person?
No, because
A
why
little
should
bit.
you?
No,
I mean,
it'd make you a
you're
bad
not
person if you had
child.
children and that's the way you treated them. But it doesn't make you a bad person. You're not influencing another generation of webs.
That's true. I'm not.
You're totally fine.
Although you are influencing every child who watches your show. So,
Good point.
pressure.
Wow.
Okay, but here's the thing: is I think kids like things that are not made for. They don't talk down to them. I think kids like things that treat them as an intelligent people, which they are. And
Right.
I hate just insipid things that talk down to kids and treat them like they're idiots.
Right. Like,
I
say
don't
no
know,
to
I-
drugs. Look, make your own decisions. You know what I mean? Like, don't say
your
no
call.
unless you've done. I mean, I know my middle school and high school years would have been a lot better if somebody would have exposed me to ecstasy at an early age. But that's my own opinion.
Middle school in general would have been better with ecstasy.
Yeah. And, okay, TJ, what about you?
So my New Year's resolution for gaming is probably just to play more for fun than for work. I know that sounds so bad, but I think But if you work in the industry, you get yourself in this habit of when you play it, you actually pay more attention to how other studios do things that you do than just playing it for fun. Like, I think I played through all of Batman Arkham City like that, so I think I'd like to just go back and play it once again and just be a kid again and just play it through without analyzing every single thing.
Right. And not to mention the fact that you don't really have a ton of free time right now. Obviously, for those that don't know, TJ writes over at Insomniac, and outside of the Ratchet and Clank franchise, which you guys crank out good installments on a regular basis. You've got Overstrike that obviously we nominated for Trailer of the Year. We know nothing about the game, but the trailer was good, so nice job on writing that.
Thank you.
But you guys are working on a lot of different franchises, and so can you talk a little bit about what exactly you're doing right now, and then more importantly, because everybody's going to want to know, how did you get into the industry? You've got actually a pretty interesting video game writing story, how you broke into this thing.
It's pretty bizarre, isn't it? But So I don't know. There's like 10 questions wrapped up into one.
And
I'm not
go.
even
That's
sure
because
where
we
to
don't want
start.
to talk for the rest of the hour.
I
so-
know, right? Wow. So I guess what we're doing now. Well, I spent the whole last year writing, of course, Ratchet & Clank All for One and Overstrike. Now, thankfully, All for One's out the door. It's been shipped, and now I'm concentrating more on Overstrike. But I'm also helping North Carolina out with their next game, which is why a couple weeks ago I had to go out to North Carolina for a week and dodge the forest people and basically exist on a diet of DoubleTree cookies at their hotel until I can get everything done. But then I flew back, and now we're sort of shut down until after the new year. But in terms of how I got started, it was weird because I'd always been a writer. I'd been writing since like high school, and I hadn't thought about doing anything but feature writing or TV writing when I came out to LA. And I also had a 3D animation background, so I imagined that was almost like the safety job that I was able to tell my parents, well, I'll go out to LA.
It's a
and
pretty good safety job.
Right?
Right.
If it doesn't
luckily-
work out, I'll be a doctor. I don't know.
Well, 3D animation is the kind of thing where like you can do that or writing out in LA. So like my dream jobs were both in the same place, fortunately, and it was an easy sell for my parents. But when I came out, even though I'd sold a couple things and I had I was signed with an agent, I wasn't finding work as a writer, and I ended up getting a job as a QA tester. So yeah, I worked with her brother over at EA, and then I moved.
Medal
over.
of Honor, I think, was it? Was that the first thing you did?
I worked with Evan. I worked on Black and White 2.
Did you really?
Black and White 2.
I remember
and then
you worked on Black and White, but I didn't know that he also did.
He also did, and then we worked on, I think it was Battle for Middle Earth 2. I don't know if he was on From Russia with Love with me, but we worked on a whole bunch of stuff together. And after that, I had gone over to Insomniac, and I tested there, and I tested on Resistance, and I also did a lot of what's called nav meshing, which is very boring, but it's sort of like design light. And when that ended, I left, and as I was walking out the door, they told me that the guy that was writing Ratchet & Clank before me was leaving, and that guy recommended me for his own job.
Really?
It was the coolest thing ever, and like they actually asked for my samples because he was familiar with my work and he knew my agent, whatever. And so I sent in all my samples, and I literally came back the next Monday after spending that entire weekend unemployed with $200 left in my bank account. Interviewed on Monday, got the job started on Wednesday. It was the most like bizarre.
That's just never. I mean, that's such a giant jump. That's like you're the guy in charge of craft services on Warhorse, and then as you wrap the movie, they're like, "So Spielberg needs an executive producer for his next flick. Would you be interested in that?"
He
director?"
recommended
crazy.
you.
Yeah, Spielberg. He loved the way you made those pigs in a blanket, and he'd really like you to EP his next
It was
flick. Would
great
that, is
because,
that
like,
okay?
Well, when I went back in the next day, I got all these like double looks because every time somebody leaves Insomniac, I was a contract position being a tester, and every time you leave Insomniac, everyone sends out this email like, "Oh, I had a great time meeting you guys. Thanks so much. I didn't know I was getting the job." Again, so I sent out that email, and then I got back, and they're like, "Didn't you send out a goodbye email? I thought you left us. Weren't you going back to Jersey?" And so,
Well, it was really well written, and they recognized that, and so Ted hired me because
it was cool. And now, like this same guy that recommended me, Adam Moore, he now teaches game writing over at the New York Film School, which is here in LA, oddly enough. And every time he asked me to come in and talk to his kids, I can't say no. Like I got to go in because he's sort of.
forever.
Exactly.
I mean that. Yeah.
Yeah, so he threw my hat in the ring. So yeah, it was crazy. It was like this bizarre, and that's why like all these like aspiring writers will ask me like how I got into game writing so that they can do the same thing. And I'm like, dude, it was the weirdest,
Just
most.
kiss a lot of ass. I mean, I assume like you just like sucked
just
up
have
to
to-
this guy.
Just test video games, and while you're there, just leave scripts lying around the office.
But I think
Just-
everyone's career kind of follows that path a little bit. I mean, there's always a little bit of chance. Like you do what you can to get yourself ready and
Sure.
put yourself in that place. But then after that, it's luck.
Right.
Totally. I had the samples ready, and thankfully they liked the samples. But yeah, it wasn't like I saw the job posting on Monster.com and sent my stuff.
Yeah.
It was,
Monster.
yeah, I know, right?
Here's a
That's
model.
not
random.
around.
I know, right? But it was so random how I got there, and it sucks because when I try to tell people this is how you write or this is how you get into writing, the only thing I can tell them is keep writing. I can't give them like a concrete path into
Right.
Insomniac.
Well, that's really, I mean, that's the advice we get. Whatever it is you want to do, just keep doing it until somebody gives you an opportunity. I mean,
Pretty
that,
much.
that
I mean,
advice could
that's
follow.
what we say about sort of game journalism is like if you want to write video game reviews, just start a blog and start writing video game reviews. And
Right.
so now if we're looking for somebody, we can go and look at what you've done. You
Right.
have a body of work that we can look at. I mean, it's the
And-
only way you're going to do it.
Yeah, and then
Exactly.
find out whatever game Morgan's brother's working on and get involved with that as well because he is a totem of good luck.
He
it
is.
seems.
He is.
It's-
sort of
I was very happy for him when he got his shot too, because he went into 7 Studios, I think, straight from EA with very little like design experience at all. And now he's kicking ass. So
Right. Oh, success. It's so nice. I can't wait to get some. All right, so let's talk about, outside of Overstrike, which we're all very excited about, and we had multiple conversations with TJ, and he over alcohol, and he still refused to talk about it at all. So we're not going to
It's
try to
tough.
drag out any information, but I know people are really looking forward to that, especially after seeing the trailer. But let's talk about the other games that we're looking forward to in 2012. Caveat being, you cannot say BioShock.
Yeah, like
Alright,
should
I'm
we
gone.
should we have like a
That's the one I'm
segment where we
ready
get
to.
that out of the way,
Yeah.
or
Obviously, we're all very
I'm
involved.
looking forward to Bioshock Infinite.
We're really, really looking forward to BioShock.
everybody? Okay, we get it.
Everybody
Let's say
is.
that's the default first
yeah.
choice,
Yeah.
and then we'll just go with our second
Yeah,
most
so-
anticipated.
so-
I
second-
guess Mass Effect is gonna be great.
Oh.
Whatever. If I have to play it, I will.
Twist my arm.
I guess.
I guess I'll shuffle some stuff around in March and get on the Mass Effect train because everybody else is getting on it. But Nicole, what about you? What are you looking forward to in 2012?
Well, basically, up into this whole month of January, it's kind of like dead. We're just kind of waiting. And then
Which is good because we're very busy in January.
yeah.
we have
well, you guys have the
SWTOR.
golden and well, you guys have the golden mullets. So I'm sure that's.
You know, those porn
That's work
conventions
for
aren't
you.
going to cover themselves.
They really aren't.
So I'll be
yeah,
there
we have
doing
CES
that.
coming up. But so beginning in February 7th, we have The Darkness 2, we have Kingdoms of Amalur, and I think a few other games. And so from that point on, there's like a great game every like week. It's going to be a ridiculous year. And my biggest one is for the first quarter at least is Mass Effect 3. I think I think that's safe to say that that's
Yeah.
going to be. I mean, I'm already calling it as Game of the Year. I mean,
Really?
There's not going to be. I'm sure there's going to be another Call of Duty, but there's not going to be. There's not going to be another The Elder Scrolls. There's
What if Diablo comes out?
oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, no, maybe it's Diablo. Okay, I'm excited for both those things.
Yeah. or maybe that game that we can't talk about, BioShock. I think that's probably going to win a couple
Oh,
of
yeah.
awards. as
Oh
well.
yeah, I forgot. Right, that one too. It
Yeah.
looks all
It might
right.
do well.
Yeah.
It looks all right. There's a bird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one.
And there's like a thing with another thing, and
It's a
those
girl
are always
who
great in
kind of
games.
forgot most of her shirt. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's,
the
can
good
we-
news is she's not really a child, though. She's more of a
But
tween.
she
so that's
looks
good,
like
right?
a child.
I
Her
know.
face is like a 7-year-old, and
Yeah,
then
she
just
looks like
in her
15.
face, and it's like it's confusing.
It is confusing.
But some people on the internet are very thankful, and you guys need to
But
seek
it's
out help
just-
immediately.
It's just odd because it's like she should have nipples there. Like that's what I can't figure
Yeah,
out.
I
Like,
mean,
it's
even
so
if it's
low.
a good push-up bra, like
Mm-hmm.
they go up. Even it pushes the whole boob up.
It's
That's
odd.
how they work.
I still don't understand. Elaborate.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to the bird. Can you ride the bird?
Badge.
No,
Yeah,
don't
it's
do
him.
it. Seriously.
It's not my bad.
This beard won't protect me. Because it's not a real beard.
It won't.
Um,
Guild Wars 2 looks
Mm-hmm.
awesome.
It
I
does
mean,
actually look awesome. I was not interested in this game for the longest time, but I have to say they've convinced me a little bit.
No, I mean, I just don't know if my life is gonna have time for another MMO though.
It will. You'll figure out a way to do it.
Just stop coming to work. Everyone, when you're gone, we'll just say, "Oh, she's in the bathroom again. She's been drinking a lot of water recently, and she's just not really around that much. And you could just be at home."
That's great. It's a really great plan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually really thirsty right now, so if I could just
We're
peace
going to need
out.
to make sure we cut that out of the edit so nobody knows what you're really doing.
Okay, we'll do that in post.
Morgan, what about you?
Diablo, I think, is a safe bet. Of course, it doesn't actually have a release date yet, so we don't know when it's going to be.
Right.
I feel like it has to be.
It has to be this year.
It is.
Right?
I think it's one of the safest assumptions we can make about 2012 is that they showed. I mean, the beta they showed is fully fleshed out. I mean,
yeah, but it also
you know,
wasn't very long.
It wasn't very long, but I think they're always coy about it'll be done when it's done. But I think the more they talk to the press, at least in 2011, you got that feeling that they were like, it'll be done when it's done. And thank God it's done. You know what I mean? Like, especially Jay. We talked to Jay a couple times,
Yeah.
Jay Wilson, and he said that, you know, he didn't confirm, but he said he's really looking forward to people getting it in their hands sooner rather than later.
Well,
so.
also the beta was just really, I think, not indicative of how the game is going to play.
Sure.
Because it was so easy. So
Right.
it'll be interesting to see. Because they're to say it's for server load, but like they know how to do servers there, and that's not
Yeah.
something that they should really need to practice.
I
that
think,
much.
like to Nicole's point, there's just
Too
so
much.
much good stuff coming out that they need to find their place. And,
And
they're a
then-
company that already has this other revenue streaming in every day, so they don't need to
Maybe
pick
it was
a
a
day.
favor to EA. They're like, hey, in camaraderie here,
Sure.
we're gonna let you release Star Wars 1st, and then we'll release Diablo later.
I mean, Mike Zeno said in multiple interviews, he's like, you know, everybody always asks, what do you think of Star Wars? This could be the one to finally take you guys down. And he's like, I'm in full support of what they're doing. I appreciate people advancing the space and whatever. So I think it's still a business, but I think there is enough of a relationship there to where they were probably like, okay, we're going to do this in December. Oh, you guys are doing, okay,
All right.
well, we'll do, okay, but your expansion though can't come out when we release our expansion. You got to give us 8 months. You know, I feel like there's some backdoor dealings going on there
It's hot.
with that stuff.
Okay, I have two more.
Okay, what are they?
Last Guardian, which I think probably will not come out this
Yeah,
year.
I don't think that's even in production right now. Like
No.
I just have
I don't
bad feelings.
It'll never come out.
It's like Beyond Good and
I'll
Evil
say
2 status. Like, oh,
No, but at least it's announced. Beyond Good and Evil isn't even announced.
Sorry. I know that makes you sad.
It does makes me actually really pissed off.
Ooh.
And sad. So I want The Last Guardian, but who knows if it's actually ever going to come out. And then Kingdoms of Amalur, I feel like I'm worried about that game because I worry that it's not going to be that good.
Really?
Like, we've invested a lot of emotional energy into that game.
Sure. We've covered
and
the
I
hell
just
out of it,
worry,
too.
Like, what pedigree does it have, really?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we haven't seen stuff from that studio. So it's like a really ambitious first offering, and I just worry that it's not going to live up to our expectations.
Right. I mean, I think on the creative side of things, they've attached some really great people to it. Aria Salvatore and what's the I'm drawing a blank here, but the other guy that,
yeah,
that
the
worked on
one.
WoW or that worked on.
He worked on the Elder Scrolls, right?
Yeah, and he worked on the Elder Scrolls.
I forget, but I know who you're
I'm
talking
drawing a
about.
blank. But anyway, there's some big names attached to it, but it's still obviously Todd McFarlane doing the art direction. The game's going to look really cool. I have a lot of hope for it, though.
It's
I think
still
it's
like
gonna be
a game like that really comes down to gameplay mechanics. Like as much as you can have like great art and everything, like if you don't have really good, really thoughtful mechanics, I think that come from a lot of experience. Then I think that I'm a little worried.
cool. Okay. I mean, I know that we went to a panel at Comic-Con that
Yeah,
McFarlane
that
did
was
on the
awesome.
animation.
It was
At least we
cool.
know the animation's going to be cool in the game, but whether or not the actual gameplay is engaging is another story. So.
Right.
I agree. I mean, I think we can reserve judgment until then, but I have a lot of hope for it. I think on a story level, it'll at least be pretty cool, And then you, TJ, what do you got?
So if I got picked from this list and I can't pick Overstrike,
No, you pick anything you want.
You pick
You can pick
anything, yeah.
Overstrike.
You can pick
No,
Bioshock,
no, no,
and
no,
we
no,
wouldn't
no, no.
meet you.
Suggestions.
Well, actually, like mine is a guilty pleasure that's not on here. Like there's a lot of us in the office that are really getting excited about the new Max Payne. And I know, right?
No, it's okay.
But it's like
I was
it's one of those
laughing
things
with
where
you.
like it knows what it is. It's sort of like campy and crank like, and then it's just noir. Just they're going for it. They're just having fun with it. And of course, we're big shooter fans, so like that's one of the ones I'm looking at right now. I know a total guilty pleasure one.
No, man. I mean, I think a lot of people are excited about Max coming back into the mix, because he's been gone for a while. And, Rockstar, I think they're playing their cards a little too close to the vest right now, though. I hate that they're so, like,
This is wrong.
They always
know,
are.
I mean,
It's
I-
like, yeah.
But you're right. I mean, I think there's enough of a story there to where I feel like they should be kind of showing people a little more of what the game has to offer.
Absolutely. Just from like an animation perspective, though, it just looks cool. And I'm one of the biggest like haters of bullet time ever. Like I think I just got so over it just from watching it in film. But it just looks like a fun game to play right now. So so I'm excited about it.
Right. And then anything else?
Nope.
Just that.
That's the one.
No,
Good
no, no.
news. Your
That's okay.
resolution, you're on
I'll
point,
take,
dude.
Morgan
I'm
will
going to
take-
take your more choices. Assassin's Creed 3 is not coming out this year, I don't think.
I think it will.
You think so?
Yeah, because the story.
Because they release one every year?
Well, they
So
do
if
that.
That's true.
if
Fair
history is
enough,
our
fair enough,
guide,
fair enough.
But
it'll be
also,
out.
like the story arc of the Desmond story is like really key on the whole 2012 end of the world thing, and it would just be like a biggest waste of marketing money if they didn't take advantage of that and like release the game on a key moment in the actual series. Oh, it's totally gonna come out this year.
Okay, cool. I'm excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
You convinced me. I'm like, sold.
Borderlands 2, anybody?
Oh, yes,
we saw the
absolutely.
demo.
First
Oh, dude, come on,
I know.
TJ.
I know.
Wait,
It's
you
on
don't like
cloud.
that game?
No, I haven't played it yet.
You need to do something to get yourself fired, bro, so you can catch up with
Right.
some of this stuff.
Yeah,
We'll play it together.
I'll play. Like it's been that extreme lack of free time, and only that because it does look good.
What are you doing? Accomplishing things? I mean, whatever.
I don't know about accomplishing things, but definitely
Making
try.
money, entertaining the masses.
Being
so
productive.
boring. So boring. But Borderlands 2, we saw the demo, obviously, I think at PAX, and
Yeah.
Gamescom
it looks like
too,
more of the
yeah.
same, but you know what? I'm totally okay with that because the first game was so much fun. So I think Borderlands 2 is going to be great. The Colonial Marines game
Yes,
is finally
four-player
going to come
co-op.
out, and that looks
I'm
pretty
so on
awesome.
board for that.
Yeah, speaking of Gearbox, Gearbox is actually going to have a pretty good year. I think, right? Borderlands 2.
Is it the Brothers in Arms? Is that the other one?
And then Brothers in Arms as well, yeah. It'll totally erase the taste of Duke Nukem out of everybody's mouth, I think.
Don't worry, he'll be back.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
That taste will be
Oh.
back real soon.
Wonderful.
And what do you think story wise, TJ? I mean, outside of BioShock, which is great, but from a story perspective, what are you looking forward to? Anything that's really caught your eye outside of Max Payne, which again looks like it has an amazing story.
God, honestly, I hate to jump on Infinite again, but like Infinite's the only one I can honestly say like I'm so interested in seeing what Ken Levine and the guys over there do. Like that's the one I'm excited about.
Right.
Like he's just the guy, man.
Right.
I had a lot of respect for him. So him and whatever Neil does for The Last of Us, I'm pretty interested in.
Really?
The rest of the guys at Naughty Dog, yeah, they know how to tell a story, and a lot of people like we look at it and we say there's so much that we don't know about The Last of Us in terms of is it sort of zombie-esque, is it just like post-apocalyptic, is it whatever?
Right.
But like I'm sure they understand the sort of pitfalls of that genre, and they'll find a way around. The same way that The Walking Dead made it more character based and less
Right.
just about zombies. So I'm sure they've got an angle that they're working on. I'm very interested in seeing what they do there.
That's great that you brought that up because we had a previous conversation and a previous feedback about The Last of Us, and it's like, obviously it's something that we've all seen done before, but they do a great
So
job
many
of so many
times.
times, but they do a great job of telling a story. So you have to assume if they're going to invest this much capital into this game that they have a unique spin on it. I mean, are you thinking they're
Exactly.
are they trying to kind of reinvent that, or are they just and then let's look at it from another perspective, do they know they can make money off of this?
I don't know. I don't think Naughty Dog is in it for that. I mean, I'm sure they're in it for money. Of course, they have to keep making games, but I'm sure they have a way of tackling that genre without making it feel the same as we've seen before.
But
And
the trailer felt exactly the same.
I agree.
it was
Like
a
we've talked about,
cinematic.
it was a great. I thought it was a fantastic trailer. But yes, it did seem like that whole I Am Legend, zombies sort of in post-apocalyptic dystopian future, whatever. But I've got a lot of confidence in them, and I think that they're going to find a way to make it feel original.
Now, do we know that this is a console title, or could this still be a PSN title?
I don't. who
I'm sure
knows?
it's I feel like it's a console
Yeah.
title.
I was supposed to have lunch with Neil tomorrow, so maybe we'll just play with alcohol until he talks.
Well, then we'll have you back.
I
It'll
know,
be
right?
great.
We'll
Like, here's what I
Chiron. We'll just
found.
Chiron under you. What TJ? We use the typewriter sound effect. TJ went to
Your
lunch
new
the next
font
day.
pops up.
And
Yeah, I'm just as interested because the tough thing with that whole genre is that anything that's even tangentially related to zombies is now just zombies now. Like
Sure.
if it's people that have turned it into something, they're zombies. If it's like something that's happened to the world and now everyone lives on the ground, zombies. It's like everything feels like zombies now.
Well, because the zombies looked kind of alienish.
Right.
Yeah.
So they didn't look like your typical zombie. But still, I mean, aliens
still
are hardly a
zombies.
more creative
Yeah.
enemy. So
It all throws off the zombie vibe, doesn't it?
Is it from
It's true.
somewhere else?
If it doesn't make its own decisions, that just automatically makes it a zombie. Is that what we're classifying as a zombie now?
I think also that it dies quickly.
Yeah, if you have to chop off its head.
All right.
That's
Like-
the dead giveaway for zombies. I guess.
Or if you just stab it with a silver spike, then it's a werewolf.
Oh.
I mean, that's how you know.
Thank you for that. And if it sparkles in the sunlight, it's a vampire, right,
Exactly.
Nicole?
That's right.
Your generation established that for us.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'll take this opportunity to apologize.
It
It wasn't my fault.
behalf of
but-
my
I
generation.
actually thought that was a joke until very, very recently. Like someone told me, because I never.
I love that you
Twilight.
avoided the truth for years.
I never did anything I never followed Twilight at all. I never got it. Never even understood the appeal of it. And then I thought that it was always a joke that they sparkle. And someone was like, "No, that's real." I was like,
Oh, okay. Glad I didn't write that.
"Yeah, I was so glad."
Although you would be super rich.
So,
there is that.
how glad are you?
Yeah,
really?
right? Actually, I want to read
Not that
that.
glad.
And then because we have you here, and it is something that we are genuinely looking forward to, Overstrike, what can you say about it? I mean, obviously it's going to have some cooperative mechanics in the game.
Sure.
That'll be fun. You guys do a good job of that. All for One was a great cooperative game, but
thank
what can you talk about? I mean, can you give us anything at all?
I practiced last night dancing around all kinds of questions that you possibly asked me about Overstrike.
That's why I'm not going to ask
In
any.
the-
I'll just say
but
talk.
You can say you can't say anything.
No,
I will accept that.
Yeah.
No, I can. I mean, we can talk about and we're going to be showing something soon. Like everyone's very excited to show it off. I know Ted is and Brian Algar. Like everyone wants to just show something so that we can stop this whole, just
Dance.
yeah, exactly. Yes, thank you. But we know it's a 4-player action adventure game.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's not going to be. I would call it midway between Ratchet and Clank and Resistance as far as tone goes.
Sure.
We don't want to lose our sense of humor. I think that we scratched the itch with Resistance, and after that we collectively decided we wanted to do something where we can bring
we
a
like
little
having
bit-
fun.
we like having fun.
levity.
We want to bring in a little bit of the humor back in without swinging the needle all the way back towards Ratchet. So, it's an action adventure, 4-player co-op, and it's going to be PlayStation 3 and Xbox, and we're super stoked about it.
And that's super exciting because this is, for the first time for you guys anyway, you've now exposed yourselves to an entirely new audience with the Xbox audience. And tell me about, without getting into the actual specifics, the challenges of establishing that tone, because you did have, okay, TJ, write something super serious. This is Resistance. All right, write Ratchet and Clank, which you're obviously really familiar with at this point, and you can crank out Quark one-liners all day, I'm sure. But this is an entirely new franchise with entirely new characters. So how challenging was that for you to create these new things?
It I mean, it was pretty challenging. I'll have to give you a disclaimer first. I'm gonna say I did not write Resistance 3.
Okay.
That was John Paquette. I helped out. And I co-wrote.
You inspired
Resistance
him,
2.
is what you're
I
trying to
inspired
say.
him.
You were the muse.
His muse, exactly.
Yeah, there's actually 2 writers at Insomniac. John Paquette is the other one. He did a fantastic job on 3. I helped out on 2, but yeah, it was tough because like we knew that when we wanted to do Overstrike, that we wanted to do something that was a little bit more fun, but we didn't know how fun. We didn't know how like. What's the threshold of camp or
Fun.
humor that people can take before they say they can't take it seriously anymore? So we started off, going one direction where we just did all jokes back to back, and it was all just, campy as hell. And then, we would focus test it, and we would, have people in the company play it, and then they would come back to us. It was very much like this back and forth process over, I would say, like a year until we found out like the sweet spot, and the sweet spot is like humor that feels connected to the real world, but it's still a little bit like larger than life. I'd say like 90s action movie kind of humor, like Lethal Weapon
I
style.
like it.
So it's kind of like it's fun and it's not strictly realistic, but it's grounded enough that you take it seriously.
Can you confirm that Danny Glover did voiceover for this game?
I cannot, but I would love him to.
He can't confirm.
Danny loves
Yeah.
this show,
I will
so
say
I'm
that
sure.
for the last couple of Ratchet games, I have tried to get either David Hasselhoff or David Caruso as one of the parts because I wanted him to play either Quark's mentor or something, and just totally like write the gag where Chris just keeps taking the sunglasses
Right.
off. I would have loved to do that.
Who's your big get? What actor would you love to have come in and do a voice for you?
Oh God.
Go big.
I'll go. It's so weird.
Jesus would be dope because he like died for everybody's sins, so we could create this really cool character around him.
And it'd be symbolic because it's a game for everybody now.
Everyone, yeah.
God, that's put me on the spot. I've always been like a huge like Alan Rickman fan, and
I
would
love Alan Rickman.
I would love to have like Hans Gruber play like a villain, and just have it be. So he would probably be up there for me. I know it's a weird one. That's a weird one.
No,
You just
he's
love 80s and
perfect.
90s action movies is what you established.
Yeah,
there.
right. I guess I just tipped my hand in terms of what my tastes are, but yeah, totally.
No, but that's much more interesting than like Tom Cruise. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
I would want to pick somebody that it's a little bit like unique. And I don't know. I don't know.
And he's a
Right.
great voice. Like you wouldn't have to like make the character look like him at all. Like he just has a great voice.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And just hearing him like do comedy would be interesting to
Right.
me.
I would do Michael Clark Duncan, but make his character female and just have him figure it out in the VO booth somehow. Just figure it out, Michael. You're an actor, right? That's
Don't
what we're
tell
paying
him.
you for.
Just don't tell him.
Yeah. Why is my name Patricia? His nickname's Pat.
It was
right?
He earned that name in prison. You don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to know the backstory.
Yeah. And then the last thing I think for things to look forward to in 2012, if the Wii U does in fact come out in 2012.
I'm gonna take a nap. You guys can chat amongst yourselves.
What they've learned obviously from the launch of the 3DS, you better have some software that
3DS
people
had, like,
give
8
a crap
games.
about.
Yeah, but the PlayStation or the Xbox also didn't learn that lesson. I mean, they didn't have.
Yeah, but
Vita has
Nintendo
launch
has learned
titles.
Nintendo for the first year in forever in 2011 had to say
They're bleeding
we
money.
lost money and we're aware of that, so they have to release something. So what's going to be the console seller for the Wii U? What do you think, TJ? What do you think they need to bring to the table to get people to buy this hardware?
And what would you buy? Like, what would be the system seller for
Yeah.
you?
See, I don't know, because to me, like, I'm the laziest gamer on the face of the planet. Like, I see everything that the Wii U does with all this, and I get winded just looking at it. When I come back from a long day at work, I want to have my whiskey Coke, I want to sit on my couch, I want to move as little as possible. So, like, I think it looks cool, but I don't think I would get
So you're
it.
not
One of those
buying it
things
regardless
that's-
of the software.
Regardless, yeah.
There's
Alright.
always all
Just
these
looks
clever
gimmicky.
ideas, and it looks gimmicky.
Yeah.
There's all these clever ideas, but when it comes down to it, if like third-party developers aren't really thinking really creatively about it,
Right.
then it's kind of a waste.
I think it
mean,
would probably cost so much to develop like one game for the Wii and for Xbox and PS3 because it's so different and just I don't know.
when you have to make games for the Wii, like you have to think about it
Right.
totally for the Wii. And now the Wii U looks exactly the same. You have to think about it like using the pad and the screen creatively. It's totally different than the other consoles. They've kind of like. I know you're a huge 3D Mario 3D Land or whatever fan.
But to be
Are
honest
you a
with you,
huge
I could
fan
turn
of
off.
that?
No.
I could turn off the 3D completely in that game and still really enjoy the game. I just like
This
the game because the
is
game was fun.
So old, like it's such
That's
an
all right.
old game.
I know, but you know what? I've been eating Frosted Flakes for 25 years too, and them still taste good. It's still all
I've
good.
played that
That's
game
a pretty
so many
good point.
times. No,
No, it's just. I mean,
Frosted Flakes were never good.
Oh, whoa.
they're flakes
I'm in your camp on
for
this
your
one.
parents. You're eating wheat, but they're covered in sugar.
Everybody
Right?
wins.
They're like coated in sugar.
My parents were never fooled by that. They're like, you're not getting that. That is covered in sugar.
Your parents like, will you be quiet? Yes. Here.
So you're not going to buy it either. Like so, Nicole, you are. Like, is
Yeah,
there anything
I mean-
that you can like a Twilight, a Pokemon game would be great for
Oh,
you, right?
absolutely. I mean, I hate moving just as much as the next gamer, but and I hate them. I hate the Wii Motion. It kind of prevented me from enjoying Skyward Sword, which is another issue because I didn't like Skyward Sword at all, really. But if they can step back from some of the motion controls and make games that are quality games and that I don't have to move a lot, then I'm back on board. Like, it's not like they would have to win my loyalty back. They just give me a few solid games that I can play from my couch. And give me OOT HD. Give me a Pokemon game on there. And, like, why don't you try and get some deals with, like, Square Enix and, like, make some of those Final Fantasy games, like, in HD. Like, if you can play HD now, try and get these games that the fans are asking for so much and just win everybody back.
Sure.
Like, I feel like Nintendo could easily be on top again if they just made the right moves.
Right.
And they should probably just, like, hire me, is what I'm thinking.
I think they need some new franchises.
And some new blood.
Well, I think they need to use it for other things. Like maybe it's just not
An
just a gaming
entertainment
console.
device?
Like I would like to be able to hold it. I like to be able to plug it into like 3 submerged bald chicks and hold it up in my living room, and then it shoots out
He
a little
lost
red
me.
ball that predicts future murders, and then I could scan through it.
And
And
then
can you
you
imagine
can
how
plug
many
in the
police
Kinect
forces around
and
the
then
around
do
the
this.
country would? I mean, I'm just saying.
Did you
That's
just pitch us Minority
He just
Report?
did.
Is that
I
what
Yeah.
pretty much just said, hey, there's a movie made by Tom Cruise
It
that
looks-
is going to happen
It looks
in the
so
near future.
childish, though. It looks like that VTech thing, like for little kids, that like fake DS that all the kids are pissed because they really wanted a DS and their mom got them VTech because
Like the
somebody told them it
Leapfrog
was
one?
educational.
Yeah.
Yes, like Leapfrog.
Which, by the way, if you've ever worked at Toys R Us in the R Zone, like this guy, the worst device ever to explain to parents. But I'll take the computer you guys sell. Well, it's not okay. It's not a computer. It's like it'll show your kids how to play certain games, but it's not a computer. So can like I check email stuff on it? Okay, it's not a computer. Don't forget this. It's green and made of plastic. It's not a computer, but. That's a previous life, but I think the big system seller for them is going to be them coming to the table and saying, "Yeah, this is $100."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
You know what I mean? They just
can
come
make
out
it
of the gate
dirt
and go,
freaking
"Hey,
cheap.
you know what, guys? This is $100," and I guarantee
They're
you,
not going to say that though.
Just saying,
The
that
thing's
would be
gonna
the one
like
thing that would
$300
surprise-
or $400, my guess.
and then they won't sell any.
Maybe
and
if
then
it
they'll be
launches
right
a
back on the bottom.
bundle, like it launched with like three titles, then maybe.
right?
Do you think it's
But
on
the
course for
titles-
2012?
The titles are going to be crappy. It's going to be like Wii Dance Party.
Well, then I think
Wii
Nintendo
U.
is going to lose a lot of money, and maybe they won't be a contender for consoles in 13, 14, 2015.
I'm actually okay with that.
Yeah,
I think they've
100%.
already
this-
lost.
You know, people were like, "Oh,
This could
Sega's
be
not
it.
making consoles. This kind of sucks." And now we recognize the fact things like Sonic come out. And it's like, oh, they're focusing on making games. And while the last couple years haven't been that great for them, they at least they're not trying to make a console as well. You know, and I think Nintendo would do a great job if they just focused on their first party stuff.
Mario on the Xbox. Now that would be
That would be
something
cool.
to see.
Yeah.
I haven't played Mario in years because of that.
But there you go.
You
So-
don't have a Wii? I have one sitting in my garage. You could borrow.
Nah, everyone
It's a
has
little-
a Wii sitting in their garage. That's the problem. Is like it was huge for so long, and then everyone that bought one never played one again.
you
The
rich people with your
games were-
garages.
The games
have-
were not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the problem. They had no games for it. Okay.
Yeah, we're not going to bash
We
Nintendo on this
have-
episode. Let's move on
Well,
to the fan feedback
anymore.
Yeah.
we're unfortunately running out of time. Mr. Ear _E says a lot of franchises this year had their third installment that closed their storylines. Games like Diablo and Mass Effect are still on the way. Where do you see the developers of these franchises going next? Do you think they'll continue to work on those franchises? We're obviously not going to see Diablo or Mass Effect go anywhere, regardless of what the
Once
where
the
the
trilogy
stories go.
closes.
10 more years, we'll have Diablo 4, right?
Yeah, I mean these are things that are going to stay around. So I don't see them. They're going to work on other things, but they're not going to stop making Mass Effect. They're
Well,
going
this
to stop this
trilogy
story.
will
Yeah,
end.
this
I
trilogy.
think
will
they'll
end.
go MMO next. I think those. Oh, I don't know. I guess 'cause it's Bioware and
Yeah,
EA,
they're
and they'll
they're
have
working on that one.
that one with the swords
Yeah.
that light up. I
Yeah.
forget.
Yeah.
So I just feel like an MMO would be a good space for Mass Effect, but I guess that's already filled. So, but yeah, they'll keep making these, and they'll keep making Gears of War, and they'll keep making what other trilogies just ended.
Resistance.
Resistance. I'm sure. Oh, I can't speak to that. You could.
No, I can't.
I'm really enjoying writing Overstrike right now, which comes out at some point this year.
But however, I mean, you guys also, you started Overstrike. You guys are trying to move into new territory, and
Yeah.
you know,
Absolutely. Well, I think like anytime like a studio is trying to develop like new IP, I think the idea is to develop it so large enough so that it's a universe and not just a story. So that if one story closes, they can still do more. Like with Gears, I would be shocked if they stopped making Gears.
Oh yeah, there's
I
not
mean,
a chance.
It's such a money maker. Even if like Epic doesn't do it anymore and it goes to transitions to another
but
studio.
like even if
it's-
like People Can Fly does it,
Right,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Like somebody will do it, and what they'll do is they'll just do a story that's like ancillary, or
Or
a
prequel even,
or an
yeah.
origin story. Like you can't build an IP just on like an A to B to C narrative and then just call it a day. Like I think like with Ratchet and Clank, even if we were to stop making Ratchet and Clank games, I'd like to think that Captain Quark could have his own game one day, which would
Right.
be awesome. Or like there could be like a story that takes place with different characters within the Ratchet and Clank universe. Like that'd be cool too. And that's sort of the dream for every developer, is to like design your universes so large that they can literally exist on their own.
Right. I agree. And I think that's a reason why we're seeing BioWare start to open these new studios and seeing you guys open up these studios in North Carolina. Because maybe, Insomniac proper, Sherman Oaks or whatever, doesn't work on the Ratchet and Clank series, but somebody that's been involved at some point can still continue making these games.
Sure. I mean, and the IP belongs to Sony. So even if like we were to step back and say, hey, we love Ratchet and Clank, but we're ready to move on to other stuff. If the desire is out there for more, it wouldn't shock me if Sony was just like,
That's
okay,
happening
we'll find
to
somebody else to
Sly
do it.
Cooper right now, right? Because it was Sucker Punch who made the Sly Cooper games, and they're like, we're done.
If the desire is out there,
Another developer's taking it on.
Yeah, which I personally enjoy. I mean,
I like
there's-
Sly Cooper a lot, so I'm
yeah.
excited.
Sometimes it's better after a while if somebody's been working on a game for 10 or 15 years, sometimes it's better to turn it over to a huge fan of the series that maybe has a different idea, because then I think that's where you see innovation within the series.
Because
Hence
you've written
new
a lot
tank.
of Ratchet, huh?
Yeah,
I've read
right.
a lot of Ratchet and Clank.
But the first time that a line out of Quark's mouth is something that you didn't write, you're going to be a little sad, aren't you?
I think there's going to be a part of me that's maybe not sad, but definitely judgmental.
I was trying to be nice, but if you want to just go there, that's
No. I mean, yeah. I mean, the characters after a while sort of feel like a part of you, and you care very much about it. But if a studio really like took up the mantle and like we knew that they like loved the franchise and they were going to pour their hearts into it instead of just using it for like a cash machine, like I think we'd be supportive. I'd be supportive of it. I'd be judgmental for the first 20 to 30 seconds, and then I'd probably relax a little bit and be like, all right, you did them justice.
It's totally fine.
No, I
right.
have to wonder, do you ever come across like fanfic written about, the characters that you hold so dear?
Oh God.
Anything like
We've had this discussion. Like, I've come across fan fiction. I've come across fan art.
oh no, not the art.
the art,
There's no room for imagination with art.
The safe search on my Google now stays on all the time, just because I it's funny. Like I did at first, but then I don't want to sort of get sucked into the. I don't know. It just feels like. I don't know. It feels kind of shaky that if you do it, like there are fans out there that if you ever do anything that's remotely like similar to something that they've written in their fan fiction, they'll think that you took it from their fan fiction. So after like I read a couple of them, I said, okay, I'm not gonna read anymore just for that reason. But a lot of some of it's been cool, and that like you can see like their heart was in the right place, and some of it has also been just disturbing.
Right. So
And
that's why
sexy?
there's no sex in the
sexy,
Ratchet
yeah.
and Clank universe, because you've avoided all of these stuff on the internet. Okay. And speaking of fans, this is something that they don't normally get to ask. I don't think somebody in the industry, but
MM Chica.
Chica,
Like Chikorita?
MM
I'm sorry.
Kiha.
yeah.
Yeah.
They say my friend and I are starting our own game studio. We already have a mobile game. The only problem that we've really come across is marketing. TJ, how would you suggest marketing their mobile game?
Because you know my solution. My solution is just to go to Blur Studios and give them $10 million for 30 seconds of super high quality animation.
Get the word out.
Get the word. That's how we did it, and it works for us. No, I mean, I can only tell you what I've learned from Ryan Schneider, who's our director of brand management and a really good friend. And it's nothing that's groundbreaking. It's just that you have to really embrace social media. Like you have to, like if you're not on Twitter by now, you're 2 years behind the curve. If your game doesn't have a Facebook page, like you're 10 years behind the curve. It's like we're living in an age where there's this double-edged sword that it's awesome because you no longer need a huge publishing deal to make a game or a studio backing to make a movie. You can do it all yourself. The problem is you have to stand head and shoulders above all the other people that are doing exactly what you're doing. So I don't. You got to get the word out through Facebook and Twitter, man.
Right. And then from you guys, I mean, how do you, because we are marketed to on so many different levels, like how would you want somebody to market their game to you?
I would say I think a lot of people forget, we are people who have budgets just like everybody else. And so, if somebody sends a link saying like, hey, check out my cool game, it's $5.99, it's $12.99, it's $3.99. It's like, why should I spend money to check out the game? Send like 10 free codes. And we have like, everybody has like PR departments. We all have, Blaine Howard, we have like incoming people that, are on the website you can reach. Send a bunch of free codes.
Yeah, send them a pitch saying, hey, here are some free codes. It would be great if you could give some away. Review the content. Let me know how let me know if you have any feedback, because then it kind of, you're not asking for a review.
Yeah.
You're kind of just asking for their opinion, which a review will come out of it because that's our job. And it's just, it's just a great ask for feedback, and then it's not even us, like, because G4 is kind of a bigger blog that doesn't usually tackle mobile games unless it's huge, like Infinity Blade. But like approach smaller blogs, like I don't even know, like Picky Geek, or I mean Riptem's not a small blog, but these are smaller blogs that will like pitch them your game, like let them know that content's out there.
And
Like,
if you
if
have
people are
somebody who
playing-
loves you, they'll be vocal about it. And if they're
Yeah.
vocal about it, people will hear about your game, right? I mean, that's the
Make
goal.
it accessible.
Totally make it accessible to people, because we even forget, like, when we're doing like our Game of the Year voting and stuff like that, like I feel like if a company wants to win Game of the Year, they need to make sure that a copy of their game is in the hands of every single person on every website, everybody who's voting, because people don't, especially like the PA doesn't necessarily have money to buy every single game, and maybe
Sure.
that was like the 10th on their list, or the 11th, and maybe they bought 1 through 10, and so like get in the hands of people. People will talk about what they're playing. So if you can get people to play it by giving it away for free, you're going to be in a better space.
I mean, it's a different, obviously, BioWare and EA and Lucas are in a much different situation with Star Wars, but,
If you have a mobile game, it's your marketing budget. You got to send people free games.
Right, but
'Cause
even
I'm
what
not
they
gonna
did, I mean,
download a game for $2.99.
how many times, like, how many people, I think, played the early access of SWOTOR, myself included, who played the early access, and then when they launched the game, they said, okay, well, the early access is over. You have a 2-day grace period. If you want to continue to play, buy the game. And I'm like, F yeah, I'm buying the game. It's awesome. Thanks for letting me play it
I
for
would
free
have
for a
paid
week.
sooner had
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
asked me.
exactly. But and that this is they gave out like 1 million early access things outside of the pre-order stuff, and this is a game that has a reported $100+ million budget. They're still giving away their stuff for free to get people talking about a game that everybody already knew about. So you're absolutely right. I think the key is to just let people play it for free, and they will eventually come back and give
And
you
just
money.
like look on Twitter and find out like the top 15, 20 people who cover games on Twitter, and just DM them free Twitter stuff.
Yep.
Free stuff.
And send all
You
your
like the
stuff to
swag,
TJ.
right?
What's up?
You like the swag, right?
Do you know anybody who doesn't like free stuff?
I
No,
know Morgan's
everybody-
head is a lot warmer than
No,
mine right
seriously.
now.
I
So
love
there is
free-
that.
I didn't know if you
love
were a
free
hat guy.
stuff.
I'm a hat guy
He
right
could
now.
be.
I'm a hat guy when the hats are free, dude. I'm an anything guy when it's free.
All right, I will have to break into the swag closet when Insomniac reopens.
Please do. Morgan's got this massive Quark statue at her desk. I'd
Yeah, I
really like
do.
one of those myself.
Those
so.
are hard to come by now. 'Cause
Oh,
we
that's
get-
great. I'm glad Morgan's got one next to my desk.
I
That's
wasn't
fantastic.
in charge. You know who to blame. Talk to the marketing
Yeah.
guys. But like we had a whole bunch of those things, and any of the extra, because it wasn't just Quark. It was like all four of the characters, and then all the ones that we had that were extra because they're these giant like vinyl like limited edition sets. We auctioned off for charity. So
Oh, I don't feel so bad now.
Charity.
Dang.
Wait, there were 4?
You
only
greedy
got Quark?
bastard.
No, I only have
Oh,
3.
what the hell? What the hell, TJ? Where's my
It's
other
all-
free one?
That's
Who was the
Four
fourth
one.
character?
no, you're right. It was 3. I'm sorry. It was 3.
All right, I feel better.
For a second, I thought,
Reassured.
Crisis averted.
I know, right?
Thank you guys so much for being here. We are unfortunately run out of time. Quickly, anything that you're looking forward to that you're working on that people should be interested in?
G4TV.com/the feed is a great place to get all your news, reviews, and previews and features.
That sounds like an X-Play toss. Well done. We say that ourselves. Morgan.
G4TV.com/the feed is a great place to get all your news and resources. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet.
I like that. TJ,
It's
what
true
about
twice.
all I can talk about right now is Overstrike. So
So-
Overstrike in 2012, sometime. I promise you.
Sweet. I
Wait,
love
so
sometime.
guarantee 2012 though. We can.
2012, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. We haven't missed a ship date yet.
All right.
Uh-oh, this
This
isn't
is
wood.
not wood.
This is not wood.
This is.
Happy New Year. Again, we made it to 2012, so
Woo,
that's
we
good.
made it. Good for us.
And thank you guys for being here. You can catch new episodes every week at g4tv.com/feedback. Also, g4tv.com/the feed has all your news, previews, reviews, and all those
And
resources as well.
Resources.
Resources. That's a new one, but yes, resources as well.
Mine.